And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at the newest expansion for Funkoverse, the Back to the Future. The power of love has been stuck in my head all day long as I've been putting this review together. This was a bit of a surprise when I heard this announced because they already had Rick and Morty, who are basically making fun of the Back to the Future team. So, I mean, I haven't done it yet, but now you can play Marty McFly, Marty versus Morty. You could do that if you want to, and the professors against each other. But yeah, Back to the Future is hot. It's one of the greatest movies of all time, so why would it not be? And I know a lot of people are going to want to get this because it has the hoverboard inside it, but that's not why you should get this. Let me show you. All right, so let's take a look at the two characters that come in this set. First, we have Marty here, Marty McFly. So he has rock and roll, which is taken very literally. He can move. He can attack somebody and then move. So he rocks them. It's a range 3 challenge too. It's pretty good for only 2. And you can also, this is the one that's really cool, fix the timeline. You can put him on the nearest square that contains a point marker. It's a great opening move. And even later on in the game, when there's fewer point markers, he might be able to fly all the way across the board, which is nice. And then he can pick 2 ability tokens and move them down 2 and move 1. Really good. It makes him a great support character. Now, I thought when I first saw Nobody Calls Us Chicken, I thought perhaps the fact here that this would be a negative thing, but it's not. Basically, it lets him counterattack people. If you hit him and he's still standing, he can hit back. Or he just can run away. It says he can do a basic action. So I feel like Nobody Calls Me Chicken, then you can run away. I thought that was kind of ironic. So Marty's cool. Now let's take a look at Doc Brown. Doc Brown here has 88 miles per hour, which is pretty cool. He can move 4 squares in a straight line, even through stuff. I like that. There's 1.21 gigawatts, 3 to each adjacent rifle. That's a pretty strong attack. And Great Scott, you can pick 2 Titans and move them down 1, and then move everything else up 1. Now that seems like it's an okay ability. But let's take a look. He has the DeLorean. So the DeLorean's not a car in this game. Doc Brown comes with his own cooldown track. And after the first turn is over, if he's still standing at the end of his turn, he can flip this whole track. This is crazy cool. This means you can have somebody who uses a 4 ability, and then he can flip it, and it's going to come off, and they can use it again. And he can keep doing that if you play this properly. Of course, it can work wrong, too. If somebody's knocked out, it can make them so there's a long time before they come back on. But he can also shift things around on the board with that special power. So when you add that special power to his ability, it's all neat, and it makes sense in a time machine sort of way. Then we have the hoverboard here. This is why everyone came to look at this one. So they're pretty smart with this one. Everyone already has a hole in their foot. So you just stick that on the hoverboard. And then the peg fits in the bottom of the hoverboard here. So now you can ride the hoverboard. Anyone can ride the hoverboard. I think we should put Doc Brown on the hoverboard. That seems like a good move to me. I think Doc Brown would have rocked that hoverboard. Wish Biff was in the game. All right, anyhow. Yeah, look at Doc Brown ride the hoverboard. So what does the hoverboard do? It says when you are doing an action that involves a move, you may move an extra space. If you do, you put on the square 1 of your cooldown track. So basically, it gives you an extra move. It lets you move around faster. And you put it on the 1 track of the cooldown, so every other turn you can move 1 faster. So not fantastic, but if you have someone who's slower maybe, have you ever thought about putting a T-Rex on a skateboard or something like that? So it's neat, and also visually, it's pretty fun. Alrighty, so here's the small board, Cafe 80s, which apparently had a lot of things wrong about the past in the future, although the movie had a lot of things wrong about the future in it. And then on the other side here, the town square. I know this town square probably better than any other town square in the world. And we got the clock tower here and the different vehicles around. So that's a lot of fun. It comes with some orange tokens, some extra people, a diner patron, and a townsperson. Yeah, I'll never use those. But it's a cool, fun board to run around on. It just has a nice look to it. Great Scott! God, this is my favorite, I think, of all of them. Well, I don't know if it's my favorite of all the expansions, maybe, but Doc Brown is easily my favorite character in the Funkoverse, period. I mean, I also like him as a character, right? He's a fun character, very entertaining through all 3 Back to the Future movies. But that being able to flip that board, the DeLorean itself, it's so cool. It doesn't always work as well as it might, and it probably is best for experienced Funkoverse players, but just the opportunities and things when you're building your team of characters and you pick him, you're sitting there, you want people with very expensive powers because he can make them come around and be really cheap. That's worth it alone. If they had sold Doc Brown by himself, I'd buy it. That being said, Marty's also really cool, very fun character, very useful. I really like these 2 new characters. And I like the hoverboard. It's very simple. It's one of the simplest toys in the game, and it's neat. It never even occurred to me that they could use the foot pegs. I just like it. And of course, I just like the characters. It's one of my favorite duos in movie history, and so it's a lot of fun. So you can take Doc and Marty and add in, I don't know, Voldemort and go to town. Lots of fun here. So highly recommend it. Like I said, mostly because of the DeLorean. But then you get the hoverboard too. So lots of fun. That's the Back to the Future Funkoverse set. I'm Tom Vasel. We'll see you next time. Dice Tower Judgment for Doc Brown alone. Excellent.